Hello, I'm in my car and I just parked at the Flume Gorge here in Franconia Notch State Park in New Hampshire. As I'm about to hike through the gorge. It's a 2-mile hike through the rock walls along the river. You have to pay. I had to pay $18 to get in, and I got to the parking lot and the sign said Flume Gorge full today, and the parking lot is enormous and it's a lot of cars and a lot of people walking around. So I just want to address you here so I could clearly explain what's going on before I get among the thick throngs of people. But either way, it's going to be a look at a very gorgeous part of this part of New Hampshire. Check out the visitor center first. All right, well, pretty busy inside the visitor center, but I did manage to get a water for a mere $3.25. I kind of wonder if all the people here are actually hiking, or people just coming here to do like free trails or something.
You have to know you can't once you get the ticket. Hello again. You got her, you scoundrel, like wild goose chase. That's awesome. Excuse me, I'm trying to do many things. Can I help you?
I've got a ticket that I paid for.
Just for you?
Yes.
Excellent. Whichever window opens up first.
Oh, okay.
You pay the money to walk the 2-mile Flume Gorge.
Oh, because
okay, and they'll give you much. Yes, but the boss just opened it up, but you can talk about that inside, okay?
Hello.
Hello. Bought this online.
Okay. There you go, right down those steps there and to the left.
All right, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
All right, here we go. It begins here, 2 miles. Do a little bit of reading from my guide she gave me. Welcome to the Flume. You are entering a unique geological area with many scenic wonders. We hope you will enjoy your visit. Already have. Use this pamphlet as your guide. Paths in the Flume are graded gravel, and most kinds of footwear are suitable. However, paths are steep in several places. All the land around here was first owned by someone in like the 1760s. But this big gorge was not known of until 1808 when a 93-year-old woman was out fishing and she came across it. And she tried to explain to her family when she got back about this big gorge, and nobody really believed her. And she finally convinced some people to come out here and check it out. And they said, wow, you're right, Grandma, there's a huge gorge here. Every now and then I get a little space where there's not that many people around me, but it is, by the way, a glorious Saturday afternoon in late September. So that explains why there are so many people here, but this is the only day I'm here, so I had to come here this day or not at all. I thought it was a shame to come to the White Mountains in this part of New Hampshire and not do any hiking, so this is it. The brochure says the gorge itself is like 700 feet long. Not that long, but that this hike takes 1 hour and 15 minutes. So the route kind of goes all around, and I think that's a good thing. Here's your covered bridge from 1886 over the Pemigewasset River. I didn't look up how to pronounce that, so it's probably not correct, but here's our first good look at the Pemigewasset right here. The Boulder Cabin, circa 1930. All right, what's this about? Mount Washington, famous for having the worst weather on Earth. a scenic viewpoint. This is kind of a quiet and peaceful time to be here in the fall because the water is much more reduced than it would be, say, in the spring after this place is covered in snow and everywhere around here is covered in snow and it all melts. The sign back in the thing said that this was like a huge raging torrent. In fact, the name of it, the river, which is Pimagawasit, something like that, it actually is a Native American name which means swift. So this is quite something, quite noisy if you're going to be here in spring, but here in September, it's sort of idyllic. Get up close enough to feel the water. Cold as you might imagine. Just stopped for a little rest and I read through the booklet a little bit more. I read this part twice about the history, how this was formed. I didn't really understand it because I'm not a geologist, but somehow 200 million years ago, this was all covered in a big thick layer of molten lava or molten rock. And over the years, like water and also stuff came, basalt was pushed up from below and kind of broke it all apart. And then after the last ice age, this stream started flowing through here. And it's still eroding. That's all I got. Something like that. I didn't really understand it, but basically that's how it goes. And right up here is the actual gorge part. This is the main part, I would say. It's 800 feet, not 700 feet.
Not, no, yeah, right there.
Superb gorge. The walls are 70 to 90 feet high at their highest. Down there, I guess. Just covered in all kinds of plants, dripping, wet plants, green and mossy and very gothic. Here's the explanatory sign. I'll put that in there. You freeze frame it and see if you can understand it better than I did. But basically, it was covered in lava and then broke apart and is now this, and it's still breaking apart. And I gotta say that as many people are as walking on this walkway, it's still great. It doesn't matter. They're all talking, but all you really hear is the water. And it's not like overwhelming or anything. In fact, I would say the people make it better. Imagine being a 93-year-old woman looking for places to go fishing in 1808. Born in, what's that, 1715 she was born? And at 93 she came here and she saw all this and nobody seemed to know about it. So she went back and she said, everybody come look at this. And I was like, man, Grandma, there's no gorge. Shut up. And finally she convinced enough people. And they said, well, I'll be darned, there is a gorge. It'll be the last great triumph of your life. This was her triumph. Her name was Betty Flume. Just kidding. Okay, right here, sort of the end of the, or the halfway point of the trail is where it starts to go back, but this is Avalanche Falls. Wow. I gotta say, this is a great place for a little kind of out of the way wooden walkway. This is perfect. So maybe this is actually the Avalanche Falls. And all the other stuff is just sort of the result of Avalanche Falls.
वो ड्रिंक एंड ड्राइव में काम नहीं होता है।
अच्छा तो ये ड्रैगन मोमो खाएगी तो ड्रैगन बनेगी।
वो और ड्रंकन नूडल्स खाएगी।
आई एम नॉट रेडी फॉर इट।
All right, now sort of, most of it's kind of downhill, I think, from here. The Ridge Path, Liberty Gorge, and the Sentinel Pine Covered Bridge. Sounds good to me. On the way down, I'll be going, oh, my knees, oh, my knees. Actually, that sign right there said main entrance 1.2 miles ahead, so I guess we're not quite halfway on the trail. And the other sign said that there are moose here. Moose and bear and all kinds of cool stuff. And it made the point that they are quite elusive and you don't easily see them, especially in the middle of the day in a trail crowded with humans. But it would be nice to see a moose, or maybe 50 moose, just standing right there. Ever hopeful. Valerie, Valdera, Valerie, Valdera, Valerie, Valdera, my knapsack on my back. Let's go see Liberty Cascade. Not many people coming this way. So, something a little special for us. The great Liberty Cascade and Liberty Gorge. Looks like about 30%, maybe 25%, maybe less are going to see Liberty Cascade. So let's call that the private personal highlight of this video, shall we? There's another little side trail about the pool. I keep seeing this on all the maps. This is another actual highlight of the thing. This point in the river, there's a pool that was formed by, during the last ice age, and it is 40 feet deep. The walls around it are 80 feet high. Can't really see it from here very well, but I think over here, when we get to this covered bridge, we'll be able to see it better. But let's peer over the edge anyway. Okay, here's a better shot of the pool. 40 feet deep. Now that's good swimming. You first. Wolf's Den. This narrow one-way path involves crawling on your hands and knees and squeezing in between rocks. Well, what am I waiting for? Let's go.
Look at the crawl space. Hey, crawl in here.
Well, just big enough for a cat. And I am not a cat, but I'm not that small. It's the kind of thing that weighs on your mind the rest of the hike. There is an exit here. You actually can squeeze through. They really are doing it. They're really squeezing through. Better them than me. As soon as we're done with that, we have another decision to make. This big wooden walkway that goes way down there. This is an out and back trail that brings you to the lower lookoff for the pool and the Sentinel Pine Bridge. 220 feet one way and includes 64 steps. Why do you make me do these things? All right, here we go. Even better look at the pool and the covered bridge. All right, pretty cool. Got the whole space to myself, and there's the bridge, and there's the mighty pool. The pool I wish I were swimming in. I mean, I talk big. I say that because I actually can't go swimming in it, but I like to think that I actually would if I could. That's what I tell myself anyway. And now, back up the hill. Right. Well worth it again. Okay, it's about half a mile back, and it's not as downhill as I was fearing. It's actually pretty gradual and pretty easy to hike. So this mountain in the center here is Mount Flume itself. You can see it over the trees. Next to it is Mount Liberty, which is said to look like the profile of George Washington laying down, like he was laying in state after he died. And it does too. You see his nose? A gigantic dollar bill laying on its side. All these huge rocks are glacial boulders left over from the last ice age, according to this very cool sign, which explains the area in general. So it was like this 200 million years ago. Then it became like that in the ice age. This is all ice here, cutting through everything. And now it is like this. And we're down here somewhere. Let's walk around the boulder. Wow. Hey, back out into the land of no trees and bright sun at the visitor center. It took me about 2 hours to do the whole thing because I kept stopping every 4 seconds to do a video or to go walk down. I think I walked down every side path there was. And it's great despite all the people. It's not even that many people really. I mean, the parking lot is almost full here. It's a weekend in autumn, but despite the people, it was a fantastic look at that gorge and all the stuff. And it was really, really well done, really tasteful. Just some wood paths and then some nothing. Just a little dirt path. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Patreon support helps keep this channel alive so I can bring you videos from fascinating and lesser known destinations like this. Special thanks this week to the magnificent Calvin Ferreira, Darcy Otranto, David Richley, Lever Wong, Matt Kane, Michael Fedor, Ray Nichols, Samantha, Will Phillips, and your name here. Also, thanks to subscribers to my free weekly newsletter. Links are in the video description. Thanks for wandering around with me. Everywhere is worth exploring.